Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know, yesterday Starmer's government passed the third reading of the assisted dying bill in Parliament, and you could see on the news everybody was like, oh, there's not the proper safety measures in, there's not the safeguards, this is going to disadvantage so many vulnerable people and leave them in a position where it might be, and I look at the bill and I am genuinely torn, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it and give you three distinct examples, and maybe you can leave some comments as well. We can talk about it. Well, the actual thing itself, and I'm referring to death, doesn't faze me. I'm not afraid of that. I never have been, because at the end of the day, as I'm often reminded, all things end. What frightens me more is the method by which that may happen, and I'm sure many people will get the same. I mean, me personally, I'd be quite happy being an old man warm in my bed, lights out, done. But, you know, that's a conversation. Many years ago, we lost a relative, probably at least a decade ago now, and it was cancer. And we knew what direction all of this was going. And you think to yourself, you know, you always hold on to a little bit of hope. And then in the end, you get to the point where you think, no, all hope is gone. And that person begins to deteriorate. That person begins to suffer. And that person, you just want to do something to help them. Have you ever seen the film $1 Million Baby with Clint Eastwood? That scene right at the end in the hospital. That's how I felt with that particular case. And if I acted on how I felt, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you now, I'm sure. And it's episodes like that where I think to myself, should there be a legalisation of this? Should there be the facility, the utility to enable someone to do this in a legal sense? And quite how would you make it secure? Quite how would you make it foolproof? So there wasn't any, I suppose you could call them unfortunate accidents. After all, these things happen. I roll forward to as little as 3 years ago. A very dear friend of mine passed away from cancer. 3 years this month, actually. Very close friend. And I remember it was a similar kind of thing. You knew he had it, you knew what was going on, and you knew what possibly could have been the inevitability of it. But one thing he was told a couple of times when he asked, you know, how long have I got, Doc? You know, that's what we always ask. And he was told that you might make Christmas. He was told you might, and various other things. And all the time, he kept going and going and going again until it got to the point where, yeah, it wasn't exactly great. And, you know, to this day, I miss him very much. And in the end, he just went, and the hospice did their job. The hospice made him very comfortable right at the end, which came very quickly when it arrived. But when he was diagnosed, if up to that point this option that they're talking about was on the table, could he have made a decision which would have removed that chance of fighting, that proportion of his life where he could have fought for it? Obviously, it didn't work out in the end. And he's not here anymore. Third example, somebody passed away this year, and those long-term subscribers of the channel will know who that is, very close to home. Well, when things started happening there, she laid in a hospital bed for 2 weeks and didn't say anything to anybody. And because of her age, because of everything else, she was written off. You know, there you go, in a corner, done. What if this bill was in place? What if this bill was a thing? What would happen to what would have happened to her? Obviously, again, with age and everything else, it was an inevitability. What happened, happened. But would that have changed things? Would the point, oh, she was written off, done? After 2 weeks, you know, the family went into a hospital room and there she was, talking. Unbelievable. And, you know, there was a chance to get a little bit more time back. But again, if this bill was passed, if this bill was law, would that have changed things maybe? So you see, there's 3 distinct separate areas there. 3 similar stories with the same ending, but a slightly different path each time. And you wonder if this law was in place, would that have affected any of it going across each story? There are many people out there, some that feel like they don't want to be here anymore because of their circumstances. Some who could be taken advantage of. Some who could be coerced into this where necessarily they might not want to be because they've got every chance of leading a healthy life. And there are others that fall into other categories, I'm sure. I think if it was a case of you were at the end and there's nothing anybody can do about any of it, and we want to make sure there's no suffering, then I could see it, I could get it, and I could agree with it. Because like the old adage goes, you wouldn't put an animal through it, would you? But in its current form, with doctors' permissions and consents and time of reflection and all the rest of it, I do wonder if there's a few holes in that block of cheese that could be exploited by certain nefarious individuals. I don't know what you think. It's a bit of a deep one, and I'm sure you've all got your own experiences as well, with people you knew, people you loved that aren't here anymore, and can shed a little bit more light on it. It's a bit of a doozy. Definitely a bit of a doozy. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'm going to try and get one more in today. Don't forget, tomorrow at 8:30 in the evening, I'll be talking to Graham Moore of the English Constitution Party about what the hell's going on with our electoral process. So make sure you tune into that. That'll be a great one. Please hit the like button on this. Subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it very much. Have a look at this video that's popped up here now. As always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.